Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We are trying to find thankfulness, gratitude, pumpkin pie, maybe some turkey and stuffing amidst these dark, dark times here, not just in America, but certainly with the football team and what happened on Sunday afternoon. Dennis Koulatsos is going to pick us up over Coons Forward Security Boulevard because he's got a Black Friday sale. He'll be here on Wednesday getting you ready for the Steelers and the Ravens on Thursday night. And, you know, we always want football to be like, even in the best of times when the economy's booming and we're not wearing masks and we can have grandmom and the grandkids all over for Thanksgiving and having 2 turkeys and pecan pie and mincemeat pie. But this is a little weirder, and I tell you what, the Ravens' effort on Sunday does not lead me to think like I'm looking forward to Thursday night in Pittsburgh. But it's really become disheartening from a football perspective what's happened to the program here the last couple of weeks. And we can just keep it on football, Dan. It is this is a heck of a leadership challenge, I think, for the franchise right now to stop the bleeding. And as they always say, the hardest thing to do once you start losing is stop losing.
Yeah, I think you make excellent points, Nestor. This was a brutal loss. I kept going back to those 2 words, brutal and loss, and words we're not, used to dealing with when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens. This team experienced so much success a year ago, and they've been 6-5 since that loss to the Titans in the playoffs last year. They haven't been playing good ball. They had a 11-point lead with 9.5 minutes to go. We were all feeling very good about the outcome of this game, and then the team just fell apart. And I think the biggest difference was that the Titans kept feeding Derrick Henry. He had 28 carries. And J.K. Dobbins, he was feeling it. You can tell he wanted the ball. 15 carries. They both averaged about 4.7, 4.8 yards per carry. But to me, that was the biggest difference, that the Ravens got away from who they were. They tried that long pass to Devin Duvernay, a first down that got intercepted, and that changed the momentum of the game. Tennessee took the ball 90 yards down the field, and the rest was history.
Well, in this particular case of what goes wrong and then what happens after something goes wrong, right? We've all been in a position where things go wrong, right? For this particular group, and I've talked so much about this, you're in a situation at Coons Forward right now. Things went wrong. We were all wearing masks. I'm running a radio. We all have that going on. In this particular case, when everything went right for this group last year, right, that what happens when turbulence happens, and turbulence has now happened on both sides of the ball for injuries, whether it's Stanley and Boyle and No Yanda, whether it's defensively, what's going on there. The thought that how they're going to respond to this is going to define what they are right now, whether they were a really good football team for a couple of years that didn't achieve in January, whether they're even going to get to January right now. This is the time when the Rocky music gets cued, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. They have their backs up against the wall. They're traveling to Pittsburgh on a short week to face the undefeated Steelers, who, again, they're only a 3-point favorite. And what do I know about the odds makers this year? But it seemed like they should be a 10-point underdog, never mind a 3-point underdog to the Steelers. But tall task in front of them. Hopefully they can get Brandon Williams or Calais Campbell, one of the 2, back for this game. Although the defense held up very well for 3 quarters. The fourth quarter was a disaster, as was overtime. But tall task ahead of this team. It's gut check time. And, you talk about Judgment Day. My good friend Bruce Posner said the Tennessee game was Judgment Day. Well, they get another one in just a few days against the Steelers.
Well, yes, and the next bell rings, and, the bell was they had a lead, right? The bell was on second down they came this close to having a first down that they never got, right? And then there's the fatal flaw and the mistake. And sometimes the mistake's an interception, a bad read, a long pass, a fumble, whatever it is. The defense is no longer forcing those fumbles. The defense, the tackling at the end, the optics, right, of getting run over by Derrick Henry again, after the optics where your coach was out there at 12:59, him against 80 Titans in the middle of the field. The whole day was a little weird, Dan.
It was extremely weird, the chippiness, the pregame chippiness with the Shield and the Titans and Malcolm Butler and Mike Vrabel, and right down to the postgame where it seemed like John Harbaugh waved them off. Both he and Vrabel said it was no big deal and no malice intended there. But this game had a bit of everything. Unfortunately, the Ravens once again were in a short end of the decision there, the outcome. And look, they have to do some soul searching. They've got to come together. There were some things that that we liked. Again, up until 9 minutes left in the third quarter, there was a lot to like about this team, but a lot to dislike. From that point going forward.
For you, this is a busy, busy week, right? As busy as John is coaching up 2 football games. I think for anybody in the automotive industry, anybody knows end of year, we hear Black Friday sales from in every industry, and nobody will be lining up at 5:30 in the morning at your place, right? Or are you serving out there, serving coffee and serving donuts? What are you doing?
Yeah, there's a certain clientele that likes to be the first one in. The people that enjoy the doorbusters. We'll be here at 6:30 in the morning, and we typically have 2 or 3 people at that time, and they come in. They want to be first in and first out. So they realize they can save a lot of money. Also, they get first shot at the inventory. They don't get something gets picked over. So we do gear up for this time of the year. The 2020 models, they all have to go Nestor, and now's a great time to come to Coons Baltimore for this weekend to take advantage of the savings.
Well, I know you're going to be doing double duty here football-wise this week. Give me a little prescription for the Ravens right now as you see it. Because, listen, I woke up at 4 in the morning on Monday, and my timeline is full of fire, coach, coordinator, bench, trade, demote. They would cancel their season tickets, but they don't have them anymore, right? I mean, like you heard down the line, right? So all of that being said, they had a 10-point lead. They almost won. They could have won. They played into overtime. Had they converted a couple of first downs and kicked a field goal, we'd be like the Philadelphia game. We'd be saying there are no style points in the league. We'd be going to all of that. Instead, we're on the outside of the playoffs looking in. The injuries don't feel like they're getting better. Certainly not on the offensive side of the ball. They get to live with what they have. I'm from a tactical standpoint, I'm disappointed with how Lamar Jackson's throwing the football.
Yeah, look, Lamar is still 23 years old. I'm not making excuses for him. I guess I am in a way, but he has a lot of room to grow and grow up. We saw some of the post-game statement that he made. And again, I attribute that to his youth. He's not there yet. He's still a couple of years away from fully understanding consequences. Any 23-year-old male would. So, look, they all have a lot to work on, the offensive line, defensive line. This is a team that forgot how to wrap and tackle all of a sudden, right? But nothing to bring out the best in his squad than the Steelers and those uniforms up there, and Mike Tomlin over there smirking behind his mask on the opposing sideline. Anything and everything could happen. And look, they have a chance to at redemption to turn their season around against the Steelers. And to me, even if they lose, look, they'll be 6-5. You got the Dallas Cowboys coming in next. They should go 7-5, although nothing's guaranteed in this league. And maybe they incorporate, speaking of the Cowboys, Des Bryant into the offense and James Prochet and just start trusting those guys a little bit more. But and maybe they can get healthy at the right time of the year for a change.
Well, and then there's the Steelers and what they are and what they represent. Also playing, there's no excuses about anything. They're playing, we're playing. They're playing better than we're playing. They've lost a pretty key part of their defense as well and what they want to do. Lord knows they walked around with Duck, whatever his name was last year, trying to win football games this time of year. This is a different kind of football team we're going to run into on Thursday night, right? We spent the whole offseason talking about how good we are and where the Browns might be and how Joe Burrow and that tragedy that, played out for that franchise on Sunday. And yet here we go on short rest up to Pittsburgh for leftover Thanksgiving where I don't think any of us feel really good about this, right?
Not at all. The Steelers haven't ran the ball well all year. I hope this isn't the week that they figure out how to run the ball, right? That's the only thing missing from them being a complete team, a team that can really give the Kansas City Chiefs a run for the AFC crown. But if they can figure out how to run the ball, they're going to be extremely tough to stop. And again, hopefully the Ravens will rise up and understand what this game is. And the rookies there, Malik Harrison and Patrick Queen, they've got to step their games up. Particularly Queen, a first-round draft pick. He's looked lost the last couple of weeks, and you can bet they'll target him in the run game and also in the passing game.
Dennis Koulatsos is here. You can find him at the D. Koulatsos Show out on Twitter, and no one more active during the game than you. And, I think all of us see our emotions play out in the middle of these games and tactically and when things are going right and when things are going wrong. I have mistakenly with the fan base, Dennis, brought up the injuries, right? Like we never want to talk about that, but this is a different offense. It's not nothing about this is going to go back to the way it looked last year, right? There's too many pieces that are different this year. And Luke and I talked so much about how last year's so much different than this year, but I think the disappointment and then the reality of, all right, what do we have if you're Greg Roman, and how can we take advantage of what we do well here to get through this game on Thursday and give ourselves a chance to win up there?
Yes, see, my disappointment with Greg Roman lies that he got away from what was working. Again, I'll beat this horse to death. J.K. Dobbins was fired up, 15 carries, 70 yards. Derrick Henry got 13 more carries than he did. And the Titans still managed to get 260 yards through the air because of that play-action pass, and people were left open as the defense committed extra resources in stopping Derrick Henry. The Ravens should have stuck to their plans, shouldn't gotten cute, shouldn't try that long 50-50 ball. They don't have a receiver not named Des Bryant that can go up and get a 50-50 ball. I mean, if you're going to throw that kind of a pass, at least have Des down there. And also down in the red zone, Des was singled up against Malcolm Butler. That's where the ball should have gone to. So to me, from a tactical standpoint, the coaching staff can do certain things to help this offense help itself.
Well, and in the case of the defense and the tackling and scheming, I mean, Wink can scheme it all he wants, but when their guy runs over 4 of your players and then none of them want to come out and like do a Zoom press conference after the game to even answer questions about how they got run over, and the coach had to come out and talk about tackling. It's the National Football League. If you're not tackling well, you're going to lose, right?
Well, to me on that play, and I've watched it half a dozen times, you had too many guys reaching for the ball that were trying to strip the ball from A.J. Brown instead of trying to get him to the ground. And again, it's situational football. It's understanding where you are in the field. And look, had they ripped the ball out of his hands and gone the other direction for a touchdown, we'd be sitting here celebrating today instead of feeling terrible about another horrible Ravens loss. But the tackling, the wrapping, they've got to take care of business, get back to basics. And that's what any business, whether it's selling cars or advertising or radio or football, it gets down to blocking and tackling. It's down to the very basics, and that's what the Ravens have to execute going forward.
Well, and this is a short week to be walking through. They clearly know Pittsburgh. It's one of the reasons they put all this together. Dan, I want to ask you this. It's, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We're all trying to figure things out and wearing the mask and trying to stay safe and avoid this virus that more and more of my friends, keep coming down with every day. There's somebody on my Facebook saying, hey, I tested positive. This is what's going on with me. We're all trying to get through this. For Thanksgiving, I think everyone should focus. And I would say this every day, and I know you are one of these people. It's one of the reasons you go out fishing and doing the things you do. Some gratitude for this holiday. Give me some things you're grateful for here as we head to this. And I don't just mean the Taharka sweet potato casserole ice cream that I'm about to introduce you to.
Yeah, look, I'm very grateful that I'm above the ground 6 feet today, and that's how I begin my day every day. I'm always very grateful for life. I think it's a present. It's a precious gift. It's the most precious gift we can have, and also just the relationship that we have with each other, the good people that we have in our lives, and your circle of friends that represents who you are as a person, right? So, dogs don't eat with cats and vice versa. So, there's got to be some separation here in life with people. But when you look at your circle and you like who's in it, and you count your blessings, and that's where we begin. That's where we end every day with. All
right. Well, hang in. What time do you open? Before dawn? It's Friday morning. When do you open?
6:30 a.m. That's early enough, believe me. It used to be 5 o'clock, but as you mentioned, we're getting a little bit older through the years, and look, 6:30 is enough. We close at 9 o'clock at night, so it's a long day for us.
Do they still play Renegade if nobody's in the stadium in Pittsburgh? I'm wondering.
Who cares? It's like if a tree falls in the woods, does anybody hear it? It doesn't make a noise. Who knows? But look, hopefully we'll have a good outcome to the Thanksgiving game between the Steelers and the Ravens. That would be real nice. It's going to be an unexpected victory. Put it to that way. I don't think anyone expects the Ravens to beat the Steelers at home Thanksgiving night.
No one, right? No, this would be a beautiful Thanksgiving. If somehow Lamar's eating the turkey, in the middle of an empty Heinz Field. That's something to think about, right? There's a little, remember Jacoby Jones dining on the, so there is an image there that if at 6 a.m. on Friday, I'm going to have a cup of Royal Farms coffee here. I'm going to be doing post-game with Luke. If the Ravens win, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a total ninny about this. If the Ravens win, I'm going to summon you on Black Friday away from your customers at Coons Florida Security, and I'm going to make you come in and do 15 minutes of ha, 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 we beat you, Steelers. And Nobody's expecting them. So if it goes the way, not the way we want it to go, but if the way that, let's say, Las Vegas thinks it's going to go and the Ravens don't do well, we'll just move on. Like, we just see each other, wave to each other, and I'll meet you back here next Monday.
No, that sounds great. I won't be in the mood to believe me. I'll be in no mood to be on the radio following a Ravens loss. It is what it is. But yeah, if it's a festive thing, I certainly will make the 15 minutes of time with you to celebrate the Ravens victory.
So let's see here. Fire Harbaugh, bench Hollywood Brown,
awful.
Trade, like all that. Friday morning, it becomes, if we win, Harbaugh, Coach of Year. Lamar Jackson, reigning MVP, right? Pittsburgh Steelers, no longer undefeated, right? So we would have all those headlines, right? So it's either going to be what Billy Joel says, I go to extremes, right? It's going to be one or the other, right? They're not really 0-10. It just feels that way. They're 6-4, right?
Yeah, which again is it's the Twitter timeline's funny. Just the overreaction by everybody. It's terrible, but it
could be worse. You could be Joe Flacco right now, right?
It could always be worse, right? The team, look, this team is still 6-4. So look, we're not, we're not 2-8 right now. We're not in the NFC East. Although I wish we were in NFC East, we'd be in first place by a large margin. But that's another story for another day. At this point, this team's got to do what it needs to do, scratch and claw, just find its way into the playoffs. Because as we know, in that second season, anything can happen.
Dennis is here. He is the Koulatsos Show. He is standing by at 5:59 and a half, 6 a.m. on Friday. Black Friday savings everywhere. You know what you know what Dennis is about. So if you're in the market to buy, it's late in the year. You got to get in the winter. Whatever you need to do, see my friend Dennis Koulatsos over Coons Ford Security Boulevard, and make sure we check in. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Are you officially pumpkin? Or are you pecan? Or are you sweet potato? What are you?
Unfortunately, with my dimensions, I'm all three.
And vanilla bean ice cream on the side.
Oh, my God. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, have a great holiday.
You too.
Eat once or twice and go watch the Lions and the Cowboys and the Ravens. Oh, my. Dennis Koulatsos, Steve Koulatsos Show. Heard each and every Thursday, but Wednesday this week, usually on Thursday, from 3 until 5. And, of course, Luke and I join him, and you can hear it on Sunday mornings as well as the former Sunday Sports Voice, now D. Koulatsos Show, out on Twitter. I am Ness at BaltimorePositive.com. We've merged the streams, taking all of our sports at WNST, putting it into the BaltimorePositive.com box, and bringing it to you. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We never stop talking Baltimore Positive.